Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Excela Health Virtual Mall Walkers, and happy July Mall Walkers Day. Is your liver fatty? How can you tell if it is? In today's featured presentation, Dr. Rochelle Johns from Excela Health Gastroenterology will be discussing the topic of fatty liver disease, what it is, the causes and risk factors, and prevention methods. Let's welcome Dr. Rochelle Johns.
Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Johns and I'm a gastroenterologist with the Excela Health Medical Group. Today, I am going to discuss the most common chronic liver disease in the United States. This disease is fatty liver disease. I'll start off by explaining what exactly is fatty liver disease, who is at risk for developing a fatty liver, what are the symptoms, how we diagnose, and finally, how we treat this common liver disease. So what does the liver do? Well, first off, the liver is the largest organ inside your body. It's located on the right side under your ribs. It functions to store energy, iron, and vitamins. It makes proteins that are essential for your blood to clot, and it removes alcohol, medications, and poisons from your body. It helps digest food by making a juice called bile. This then breaks down fats that are in our diet. So what is fatty liver disease? It's a condition in which fat builds up in your liver. There's two main types. The first is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, also known as NAFLD. The second type is alcoholic fatty liver disease. But today, we're not going to focus on the alcoholic fatty liver disease, but rather the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. So now when we focus on NAFLD, this can also be broken down into two types. The first of which is NAFL, non-alcoholic fatty liver. So the liver, it has fat buildup, but there's no inflammation. The second type is the one we worry about. That is called NASH, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Breaking down steatohepatitis, steato means fat, hepatitis, inflammation. So the liver has fat buildup and the liver is inflamed. So who is at risk for developing NASH? Well, first off, the cause of NASH is really unknown, but researchers do know that it's more common in people who have type 2 diabetes, who have obesity, who are middle-aged or older, but children can also get it. If you have high levels of fat in the blood, such as high cholesterol, high triglycerides, if you have high blood pressure, insulin resistance, or it's also called the metabolic syndrome. This is when the body does not respond adequately to insulin. This is the precursor phase to diabetes. If you have rapid weight loss, this can cause fat deposition in the liver. And then lastly, certain medications that we give to treat other medical conditions, such as steroids, amiodarone treats heart disease, and then a cancer drug called tamoxifen. Now, given that the rates of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and high cholesterol are rising in the United States, so is the rate of NAFLD. This explains why it is the most common chronic liver disease we face today. Moving on to symptoms of NASH. Well, there's usually no symptoms. It's a silent disease. But rarely, one may say they feel fatigue, a general feeling of unwell, and maybe some vague discomfort in the upper right side of your abdomen. Though, keep in mind, it is not clear that these symptoms are related to NASH. We usually diagnose NASH just incidentally, meaning you get blood tests for another reason, and we find that your liver function tests are elevated. There's two liver enzymes called AST and ALT, and these are elevated in approximately 90% of people with NASH. Your doctor then will likely get additional labs. We have to rule out other causes for liver disease, such as viral hepatitis, hepatitis A, B, and C. We can get imaging of the liver. This is with ultrasound, CT scan, or MRI. This shows fatty deposition in the liver. And sometimes we need a liver biopsy. This is when you use a needle to obtain a sample of liver tissue in order to make the diagnosis. But nowadays, we prefer a safer, less invasive means to diagnose in place of biopsy. So there are blood tests now that can measure fibrosis, which is scarring, and there's an ultrasound called a FibroScan. This is an ultrasound that shows how stiff the liver is. Now, this stiffness estimates how much scarring is in the liver, and that can tell us whether or not cirrhosis has developed, because cirrhosis means scarring of the liver. When you say cirrhosis, everyone thinks it's alcohol, and they're like, I don't drink. But really, any process that causes inflammation in your liver can lead to scarring and cirrhosis. How is it treated? Well, there's no cure for NASH. There's no approved medications for treatment. Those studies are ongoing. And if you want a dietary or herbal supplement, I suggest you talk to your doctor first, because some think vitamin E may be helpful, but in high doses it's actually harmful, and it can increase the risk of death in certain people. And then some herbal remedies can actually cause liver injury. Treatment is actually aimed at controlling the conditions associated with NASH. So diabetes, you really want to get your sugar under control. High cholesterol, high triglycerides, work on getting those numbers down into the normal range. If you're obese, you want to eat a healthy diet. Really limit your salt, your sugar intake. Start eating lots of fiber, vegetables, and whole grains. You want to get regular exercise, so keep on mall walking. This is going to help you lose weight, and this is going to reduce the fat in your liver. But remember, lose that weight gradually, because too much weight loss can lead to fatty deposition in the liver. And lastly, avoid alcohol. I do have one take-home message. I think you need to realize that the most common cause of illness and death in people with fatty liver, NAFLD, NASH, is actually not liver disease, but rather heart disease. Heart attacks, strokes. So if you're diagnosed with NASH, you really want to concentrate on reducing any risk factors for developing heart disease. So again, these lifestyle changes, your diet, weight loss, exercise, limit alcohol, and give up smoking if you smoke. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about your liver and your health. Have a good day.
We want to thank Dr. Johns for teaching us about chronic liver disease and how we can keep our livers healthy through diet and exercise. Up next, we have Don DeVoli with a farmer's market friendly dish on this week's segment of What's in Your Pantry.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What's in Your Pantry. In keeping with this month's theme of farmers market finds, we're going to be talking about how to use produce that you find at a farmer's market to make healthy, light, calorie-controlled meals. And our recipe today is one that is perfect for this theme, okay? It is light, it is simple, and it is a calorie-controlled dish that can be used as a dinner or a side dish that is gluten-free, okay? So this recipe also uses a very popular vegetable found in farmers markets, summer squash, okay? So the name of our recipe that we're gonna be cooking up today is summer squash and lemon quinoa. So before we get started in making this, let's take a look at the ingredients. For our summer squash and lemon quinoa, you will need 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1 medium summer squash diced, 2½ cups of water, 1 1/4 cup quinoa, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, the juice and zest of 1 medium lemon, 1 tablespoon of dried dill, and 1/4 of a cup of grated Parmesan, okay? So, in order to save time, I've already gone ahead and cooked up the quinoa. Now, for those of you that are familiar with quinoa, you know that quinoa is an ancient grain, okay? It is an excellent source of protein. Quinoa is actually the only whole grain that contains all 9 essential amino acids. It is gluten-free, high in fiber, and high in protein, okay? So that is going to be the main grain of our dish, and I've already cooked it up. So simmering here on my cooktop, I went ahead and cooked up the summer squash, okay? Now, summer squash is a very broad term for whatever summer squash you can find either at your farmer's market or that you grow in your garden. I happen to be using zucchini today because I have an abundance of it, but summer squash, in addition to zucchini, also includes yellow squash, butternut squash, patty pan, any kind of summer squash that is grown now, okay? So the diced zucchini has been cooking in the olive oil on my cooktop until tender crisp, okay? Now, summer squash, as you know, is very low in calories, okay? It has 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, and it is a good source of vitamins A, C, potassium, and fiber, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our cooked zucchini, I'm gonna move it closer to me, and then we're just gonna add the quinoa right into this pan, okay? All right, so both of these ingredients are already cooked. We're gonna give this a nice stir. And you can keep this actually on the cooktop if you want, on low as you're stirring it. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just gonna stir it right here in front of me because my ingredients are already cooked, okay? All right, so this is pretty well mixed. Like I said before, this could be served as an entree, okay? This recipe makes about 4 servings. So this could be your entree, or it could be a side dish, okay? And you'll get more servings out of it if you use it as a side dish. All right, so then to this quinoa and zucchini mixture, we're gonna add the lemon juice, the lemon zest, and honestly, this smells like summer right here in this pan. It smells very, very fresh. Give that a turn or 2. Okay, and then we're gonna add our dill. A tablespoon of dill. Okay, and then we're gonna add our freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Oh, I can smell the dill. The recipe calls for dried dill, but if you had fresh dill, I think you could certainly use that. Okay, so this is a very plant-forward meal. Smells just like summer with the lemon and the zucchini. And actually, we're gonna put this back on the cooktop and put this on low, heat this cheese up a little bit. Okay. All right, so here you have the meal, right? Look how good that looks. Looks like summer in a pan. Very nutrient dense, very easy to make. This would be perfect to take to a picnic, okay? No mayonnaise involved that you have to worry about. It's spoiling. So the healthy habit for today's recipe is take advantage of your farmer's market finds, especially summer squash, and include this fresh produce when you're planning your summer meals to get nutrient dense, lower calorie, very fresh meals, okay? So there you have it, our summer squash and lemon quinoa. I hope that you'll give this recipe a try. So that about wraps up today's episode. I want to thank you for always joining in, and I hope that you will stay tuned because we have a very exciting announcement coming up about our Mall Walker program. Okay, so don't go away. I'm sure you're going to want to hear that. So until next time, stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Welcome back, Mall Walkers. We hope you enjoyed today's cooking demonstration and our healthy habits tip of the day. Don't forget to check your email inbox for today's featured recipe, along with additional resources, including one from the American Liver Foundation on how to maintain a healthy liver. As Dawn mentioned previously, we have some big news to share with you on Monday, July 26th. Watch your email inbox for our special video announcement. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy. We'll see you soon, Mall Walkers.